All right, so this is, you see up on your screen what I have for the tentative agenda.
Beth, is someone prepared to review the budget with us?
I would imagine that Perry could review the budget with us. It was reviewed at the last meeting, the May meeting. Do you
Right.
have specific questions, Mark?
No, I do remember that we reviewed that, but I think if the budget's finalized, I think we need to learn what changes were made or what other effects were had on the budget.
Since the May meeting?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Perry, will you be able to address that?
Sure. I don't know that we have had any changes.
I
Okay.
don't know of any changes either. So maybe what I need to notate and make sure that we have the approved budget up on the website for folks to look at. So I'll make a note of that. Are there any additional agenda items? Okay, if anybody thinks of anything as the meeting's going on, please just let me know and we'll get it added. The May 2019 meeting minutes have not been completed, so I will do that after this meeting and get those out for folks for approval by email. Committee reports. Do we have anybody to share from the cataloging committee? Well, I know the cataloging committee did meet. I was in attendance. It's been long enough that the details are not fresh in my mind. So I'll just notate that they did meet and we were discussing trainings. And try to get some more details out to the council later. What about the circulation committee?
Isn't Kathy the chair of that now?
Kathy is the chair. I was just looking over attendance and I don't see Kathy in the list. So I'll share a little bit about what went on in the circulation committee. We did meet. We were supposed to meet again yesterday, but that did not happen. We reviewed some policies and basically we're trying to get the circulation committee revived and take a look at documents that need to be reviewed and updated. And those, I don't believe the minutes from that meeting have been collected, so we will do that and get those out to the group so you can know what went on at that committee meeting. And also to let you know that I'll work with Kathy on getting another circulation committee meeting scheduled. Our sense was at the last meeting that we wanted to meet monthly. And so we need to get a meeting scheduled for this month. Any questions about that before we move on? Okay. The Career Committee did not meet. We actually need to get that committee revitalized as well. So if you know of anybody that's willing to be the chair of that committee, I would appreciate that. And that also brings to mind another thing that needs to be on the agenda is it's time to re-elect chair and vice chair of the council. So I would like to solicit any volunteers for those positions.
So it was Ryan as chair, and Mark, were you the vice chair this last year?
That's correct.
Mark, how would you feel about taking the chair?
That's probably a reasonable assumption here, and something we got to be doing. I know we've got an eventful year with Beth, your departures this summer, coming summer.
Actually, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah. If we want to discuss retirement, we can do that. But I've had some changes in my retirement plan.
Okay. And that's not something we necessarily need to discuss here now. I'm looking at what the year has got ahead of it. But yeah, I'm fine with that.
Excellent.
Now I need my next guinea pig.
Somebody to be the vice chair with
Yeah.
Mark.
You know, the problem with video conferencing, unless everybody's on camera, we can't stare anybody down.
That's very
Right.
true.
Or look to see who's avoiding eye contact. Or
It's been, I'm looking at my notes on past chairs, since 2015. It'll almost be 5 years since I've been an officer other than fiscal agent. So if nobody steps up, I can be vice.
well, you just kept them from stepping up there now, Perry.
Well, thank you very much, both of you. Waiting to see
Rachel,
go ahead.
I see Rachel's on the line. Rachel, how do you feel about being vice? I would nominate you.
So this isn't Rachel, but this is Cecily from Stanfield.
Are you saying you want to be vice chair?
Not really. I was afraid to say anything. No. No, I don't think that would be a good job for me.
So, Rachel, I see your chat message that you want to be the presenter.
Said she'd like to pass.
Oh, she'd like to pass. Okay. Okay, I get it. All right. Well, I guess with no other volunteers at this point, we will accept Perry self-nomination as vice chair and Mark's nomination. Are all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Anyone not in favor?
Thank you.
I wonder if we have
A quorum?
a quorum, yeah.
I believe we do. I haven't counted everyone, but
Kathy, Rachel, Mark.
well, hi there, Kathy. You have video.
I have a camera now. Wait. But my headphones are plugged in because they were dying, so you can barely see me over here.
Are you doing that on purpose, Kathy?
Yeah, pretty much. No, there you go. It helps me to see pictures. When we do Zoom meetings with the other platform, you see everybody's pictures, and it helps me focus.
So yeah, I guess
I think we do have a quorum.
I think we do. Yeah. I'm my count is 8 of council members. I could be wrong here.
Yeah, I think that's what I get too.
Okay. So very good. We've gotten that out of the way. Kathy, before you joined us, we had done a quick review of committee reports. Did you want to kind of talk about the circulation committee?
Sorry, I could not find the link in my regular email, so I had to go to my library Gmail and found it in there. The circulation committee met, and we're going to meet again next week, I believe. I was hoping to be this week, but I'm just slammed.
Okay.
One of the main things we're working on is to create a policy proposal for libraries that are fine-free and to reinforce how that works for ILLs. So an example is perhaps Gillum County Library is fine-free and a book from Boardman Library is borrowed. How does that handled? So we need to come to consensus as a committee and then propose it to the council. Another item that was brought up was educator cards, or I think that classification is special cards. What's it called, Beth? I can't remember. It's not called educator. We call them educator at our branch, but they're called something else. Some libraries use that patron level as for bookmobile ones, and they have a 6-week checkout. And for some reason in Evergreen, they were not set up. They weren't being fined. And so Beth is handling that. That was brought to the committee's attention. And another thing that was brought to the committee as just an idea was perhaps the $5 threshold for being suspended from activity based on your fine level. Some libraries are interested in having that be higher, perhaps $10. Some libraries want it to stay $5. And there were questions regarding whether we have reached the level in SAGE, where we want everything to be equal across the board, but perhaps now we've reached the time where we can address maybe some branches can set that level themselves based on their governing board and their policies. So those are things we're working on for the circulation committee. And there was a great attendance. There were 11 people. And I finally called the meeting in an hour because I had things to do, and they would have gone on longer, I'm sure. Thanks, Debbie.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kathy.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing on the agenda is the Evergreen update. And I just wanted to kind of discuss that briefly. We're still planning on updating. My latest conjecture is December, and I wanted to see how the council felt about that.
What are the impacts that applies?
The major impact that implies is with this next upgrade, we have to give up the desktop client and strictly go with the web client.
So if we were to upgrade in December,
yes,
you're saying?
Yes.
We would have to give up the desktop clients. Have we done any kind of a poll to find out how many libraries are still using desktop clients? or if everybody's already started transitioning over to the others.
I have not done a poll. That's a good idea. I have been out doing a lot of site visits and training, and my goal is to make sure that I've contacted every library and made sure that they're comfortable on the web client before we upgrade.
Okay, I would say that I guess I would recommend, only because I don't see my staff going after it. That there may be other libraries like mine that have not gotten into the new client that much yet.
Yeah, I'll admit Stanfield's not there either.
Milton Freewater hasn't either.
Yeah, I'm afraid Umatilla County is probably going to be one of your dragging spots, I'm afraid.
Beth came and trained my staff. They were very resistant. As soon as she trained them, they went home that day, and they're using it 100% now. They're not using
The desktop client.
desktop version, anymore.
I think we could, Beth, I'm just going to be blunt. I think you need to come and talk with Heidi about it and get her using it.
Okay. Mark, would you be open to a staff training?
We're looking at scheduling the staff meeting in October, and that would be an appropriate thing from my mind. Now, my staff want other things to happen too, but I'm pretty concerned about this. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think we can give you that time.
All right. Let's see if we can make that happen. I've also been doing individual online sessions with folks. So that's an opportunity for small libraries that only have one person.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good alternative, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's lots of possibilities. Obviously, we could hold off doing the upgrade for as long as we want. The major drawback to that is they're not making any improvements to
Right.
the existing software, and there's been a lot of improvements as well as bug fixes that we would be able to take advantage of with moving to the new version. So that's why I don't want to hold off forever.
No, I agree with you. I would like to move forward as well. So I just know that some of us have drug our feet for reasons that aren't always clear or very good, frankly.
Yeah, and I understand. I understand the reluctance, and so we're just trying to mitigate those fears and establish comfort with the web client. There are some bugs with the web client currently that have been resolved in future versions. So something that John and I are working on is establishing a test environment so that you can see what the latest and greatest is and realize that, oh, okay, I have this problem with the web client now, but it's going to be resolved in another version.
Beth, honestly, I'd go as far to say if you can train Heidi, you don't need to train the rest of my staff. We can get it from there. Heidi needs that, I think.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Beth, I'd send out that list of FAQ.
Yes, you did, Perry. That was a good list.
Do you have answers to those? Are you still working on answers?
I'm still working on the answers to them. And once I get that, I will send that out. The other thing that we are, the next agenda item, learning management system, is I've started work on a new website that is a SAGE training website. And we're going to be utilizing the open source software called Moodle. And it gives us the ability to put all of our trainings up there. And so I'm going to be putting some short tutorials up. And with the Moodle software, it allows users to create their own, I don't know how to describe it. Basically their own desktop where they can see what trainings they've viewed, what ones they've gone through, and what trainings are left. It also allows us to see which staff members have gone through training. So it's going to be a great resource for both cataloging and circulation, as well as the new Evergreen system, to see who's taking advantage of the training and who may need some assistance. So more details about that learning management system will be coming out, but I wanted to let you know that it was in the works.
Thanks,
On
Beth.
the load test idea, what do you think about that?
The load test, remind me, Perry, what you're specifically referring to there.
So to kind of incentivize and alert all of Sage that we're going to move away from the desktop client and
Yes.
to test the server load when everybody is using the web client and the functionality, because I think we've heard of slowness issues. I think having everybody just use the web client for a week at least in a coordinated effort to get them used to it, to see how the system functions with the current web client version, would be a really great way to start the process of migrating.
So, yeah, and that is an excellent idea, Perry. I'm wondering whether that would be, if we had a upgrade scheduled for December, would you suggest doing that the first week of December or doing it prior to that?
Oh, I'd say at least a month in advance, if not 2.
Okay. So
Well,
a month in advance. Go ahead.
Isn't part of the point of doing something like that to make sure that our servers and everything are able to handle the capacity, etc.? If we don't do it far enough ahead, then if we have to do some upgrade of equipments, we don't have time to do that.
That's true, Dia. It's a valid point. I'm just looking at the fact that, well, maybe we can schedule it for the first part of November. I'm just thinking we have to, spend some time making sure that folks have time to prepare for doing a week of the web client.
Well, they're going to have to, if you're scheduling an upgrade, they're going to need to prepare sometime.
Yes, they are. They are.
This is Rachel here, and from Hood River, and I just have a recommendation too. When you send out the email about the upcoming upgrade, is just to reassure everyone that a lot of those bugs are going to be fixed, because our staff is primarily using it, but there's a lot of glitches and bugs, and so they get really frustrated. And maybe some reassurance, like, oh, a lot of these issues are going to be resolved, might help, kind of help support staff as they're training.
Okay. No, that's a good suggestion. And there are resources out there where people have published a lot of the bugs, and anyway, I can get that documentation to folks and put it up on the website. Okay. Great suggestions. I have to work with Equinox to get some date possibilities. In typical fashion, Equinox will probably pick a Wednesday, which, isn't ideal, but it does allow them to help us get things resolved during the normal work week. The last time we did an upgrade, we weren't down for a terrible amount of time. I think it was half the day. I expect it to be about the same. So I can get some date possibilities from them and then run that by the SAGE group.
What is it appealing about is it just the end of the year, the calendar year, that is appealing to you about December?
Yeah. But obviously, that window can shift if the council and the SAGE members would like it to shift. Do you feel like there's a better time?
Is that
Perry?
a fiscal difference because it's the end of the year? Anything
No.
to do with that?
No, it has
Just
nothing.
End of the year. Okay.
I just, in all of my discussion before, I said late fall, early winter for the upgrade. And so that's kind of where I was sticking with, but it's really up to us.
Well, I think we should do the load test and see how that goes, gather feedback, we'll need to do some more training, but that all needs to be mapped out.
Yeah.
This is a huge technological and cultural shift.
Yeah, I think I've had mostly positive response in the fact that, you know, when I've gone out and done training and they get a look at it, they say, well, this is a lot like the other one. So this isn't going to be a problem, is the opinion that has been expressed to me for the most part.
For our district, it was just the unknown quantity of it. We didn't know what it was, and I had no idea. So I felt incapable of training my staff in how to use it. So we definitely needed that, even if it wasn't that our knowledge level was, you know, seemed to be appropriate to what you were teaching us. We were like, they picked it up. They're like, oh yeah, okay. But we definitely needed that with a person to come and say, this is how it works. Otherwise, we'd still not be using it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the unknown.
Well,
It's just unknown.
We need a combination of gentle and forceful nudging in the direction that we need to move.
Okay. Well, it sounds good. Sounds like I need to lay out a concrete schedule along with providing all of the tools that can help people transition. All right. So we'll talk more about that, and I will be sending more out about those details in the future. The last thing I have on the agenda is John's contract. It's time to renew that contract, and Perry thought we should bring it before the council. So do you want me to show that document up on the web, Perry?
Sure.
Okay.
The one change we had budgeted when we passed the budget, we weren't sure what Baker would have in regards to cost of living increase. So SAGE had passed up to a 3% cost of living increase for the contract. Baker actually utilized 2.5. So we could do either one. This would be a matter of discussion for the SAGE Council. You're not bound by the district's cost of living increase standard. So the annual contract cost that was passed by the budget at 3% was $63,660. At 2.5, it's just 315 less. It's 63,345.
Does anyone have any concerns or wish to make a motion?
I move
I
we
would
renew
like
the contract at the proposed level.
I hear a second.
Which is
I
that?
second.
Go ahead and clarify now. Let's have the discussion.
Is the proposed level the 2.5 or the 3% cost of living?
3%.
Okay.
And who seconded that?
This is Ann at Hood River Valley High School.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ann.
Uh-huh.
Are there any other comments or concerns to be aired at this point? Perry, are you satisfied with the 3% on that?
Yep, just fine with me.
Okay.
This is Dia. I'd just like to publicly say I am very thankful for John and all that he does. I think he's done a great job stepping up to the plate.
It's been nice not to have to worry about some things. I have no idea what all he's done. I just benefit from it, I guess. I guess we need a vote on the motion. Do we need to have a roll call vote or anything on this since it's a dollar item or anything?
I don't think so. Usually what I do is ask for any objections.
Okay, are there any objections at this time? I hear no objections. I'm going to make the assumption then that we have a unanimous vote in favor of the contract renewal at 3%.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. All right. Are there any additional items that the council would like to discuss at this time?
Oh, I have something to discuss. Beth, did you bring up about microphones, headphones before I joined the meeting?
I did not.
I
Go for it,
was
Kathy.
talking to Beth. This is Kathy, and I was talking to Beth about meetings and involvement, and a lot of people within Sage don't have a headset for participating in meetings and don't want to tie up if they have just one phone line to their library phone for the meeting. And we wondered if perhaps Sage maybe needs to offer to purchase headsets for some of the smaller libraries that feel they can't budget for that. It's a small cost, but if you have a small budget, it's a cost for sure. Well, does anybody have an opinion on that also?
Beth, can you, or Perry, can you give us any sense of what kind of a total that'd be? I just purchased a brand new headset because I got a brand new desktop and my old one wouldn't plug in anymore. So I got a new one for about $20 from Amazon, and it seems to be working rather well. So, but it becomes a question of what kind of dollar impact is there, and do we know how many libraries would need such a service? Or should we do a survey and find out?
Yeah, it is hard to know what the financial impact would be. I got a headset for $15. Yeah, they're reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm.
In conjunction with this, I'm wondering, we had a couple people with audio issues today. Is the GoToMeeting platform working for everybody, or do we need to look at a subscription to something like Zoom?
I think
What-
Zoom is a good alternative and it's less expensive. But meetings I've done with that, people also have audio connectivity issues also.
Okay, so it exists with both.
Yeah.
What cost are you talking about for Zoom there, Kathy?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to get the details. I can't rattle them off the top of my head, but I know it is less expensive.
Do we know what our
we-
costs are with GoToMeeting?
Yeah, we get it through TechSoup, so it's just like $234.
I could
Plus
find out because
$250 less.
OLA switched because it was less expensive and ARSL switched also. I could do the research on that though.
As did Umatilla County.
I guess I would like to use what technology that folks are familiar and comfortable with. GoToMeeting has served us well, but if we have more issues that are preventing people from engaging in the meetings, I'd like to look at something different.
I'd be interested. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My sense at this point is that maybe a cost issue more than either convenience or technology, because I've seen Zoom being used by more and more locations, but I don't think they're necessarily a significant difference one to the other. I think it ends up being more a cost issue. Honestly.
I think so too. So to come back to the headphones, I'd like to see maybe a survey go out, yes or no. Can you not, if we want you to use the headphones, would you need help in funding that? And then we could look at it for next year's budget.
We're just talking $20. Yeah, that would be good to know.
$15 to $20, yeah.
If there are libraries that can't manage that.
Well, and I assume we're also looking at libraries that are actually have a voting stance on this group.
Well, sometimes on committees you want people that aren't voters on the group.
Okay.
Yeah, we noticed at some of the committee meetings that folks are just using the chat and to share, and that I think it just the conversation is harder to keep flowing if people don't have headsets and a mic, a headset mic to be able to talk with the group.
Mark, if it's okay with you, I could put out just a short survey and see what response we get.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
My initial concern had to do with, we don't need
I could just gather information and then we could put it.
Let's gather the information.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it sounds good. Are there any other topics that we want to cover before we close the meeting?
Beth, you're going to be sending out, or have you already sent out dues billings?
I will be sending those out. Yes, this is the month that I start preparing and sending those out. Okay, well, I guess we can close off the meeting. Thank you for the great attendance. Lots of people joined us, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for Mark and Perry stepping up to be chair and vice chair for next year.
Will Perry be doing minutes or will you be doing minutes, Beth?
I guess that's up to Perry.
I can do them if get the recording.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.